Ever get that feeling that you're just stuck? Like you're a student, or maybe you're just starting out and you're already feeling the financial squeeze. You're looking at that mountain of student debt and wondering, is this degree even going to be worth it? Well, if any of that sounds familiar, you're not alone, not by a long shot. In fact, check this out. A recent study found that nearly a quarter, a full 23% of all bachelor's degrees actually have a negative return on investment. Yeah, you heard that right, a negative return. So if you've been feeling anxious about your future, well, that number right there, it kind of proves you're not crazy for feeling that way. And you know, the guy behind the strategy we're talking about today, he gets it. He's been there. He actually said, "My teachers once saw me as a lost cause. I was stuck on a hamster wheel, never getting ahead." So this isn't some guru talking down from a pedestal, okay? This is someone who started out feeling completely and utterly stuck. So how'd he get out?
Well, his big breakthrough, it all came down to a simple choice. A choice between two tools. And this choice, he says, is what determines your entire financial future. So the question for you is, are you going to pick up the magnifying glass or the mirror?
Okay, so what does that even mean? Let's break it down. You've got two tools, two paths. Path number one is the magnifying glass. This is where you focus all your energy outward, on everyone and everything else. It's the blame game. But the other path, that's the mirror. And it does exactly what you think it does. It forces you to look at yourself, to focus inward on the only thing you really have control over, you.
So let's dig into that first path for a second. What happens when you're always reaching for that magnifying glass? Let's be real about the price you pay for a life built on excuses.
You know how it goes. It starts small, right? Ugh, the teacher is so unfair. So you put off studying. The traffic was a nightmare, so you're late for work. On their own, they seem like no big deal. But these little excuses, they pile up. They become a habit. And before you know it, it's your default setting. You're blaming the system or the government, these huge external things, for everything that's going wrong.
And this is where that road leads. You risk becoming what the author brutally calls a debt slave. Think about that. It's someone who's trapped, right? They're in this endless cycle where their income just can't keep up with their bills. You're working your tail off, but you're just treading water. And all the while, other people are getting richer. That's the real ultimate price you pay for always looking through that magnifying glass. Okay, but it doesn't have to be that way. There is another path. So let's talk about what happens when you put down the magnifying glass and pick up the mirror instead. Because this is the mindset shift that can change everything. It's what kicks off what he calls your ignition phase. So you're probably wondering, okay, great, but how do I actually do that? Well, it really boils down to three big commitments. First, you got to take total 100% responsibility for your life. The excuses stop now. Second, you have to drop the ego. And third, you commit to always be learning.
And I want to zoom in on that second point for a second, dropping the ego. The author is so clear on this. He says arrogance is a silent wealth killer. And why is that? Well, think about it. If you're arrogant, you think you already have all the answers. And if you think you know it all, you're completely blind to new opportunities that could literally change your life. The real key, he says, is humility. The humility to admit you don't know everything and to keep on learning. It sounds simple, but man, it's the key that unlocks the whole thing.
All right, so you've got the mindset, you're looking in the mirror, now what? How do you turn that into, actual cash? It all comes down to a huge shift in how you see the one resource we all have the same amount of: time. And I can already hear it, right? But I'm just too busy. It's the number one excuse. We all use it. But let's do the math for a second. There are 168 hours in a week, period. That number is the same for you. It's the same for me. It's the same for a billionaire. Now let's say you've got a full-time job and you get a solid 8 hours of sleep a night. Good for you. You know what you're still left with? Over 50 hours of free time. 50 every single week. So when you hear someone say, "I'm just too busy," what they might really be saying is, "I just don't want it badly enough." So what on earth do you do with those 50 hours? Well, here's a killer, super practical strategy he lays out. You take the skills you already have, your modern digital skills, and you use them as an unfair advantage. Go find those, quote, boring local businesses. The laundromat, the self-storage place down the street, and you offer to bring them into the 21st century. Maybe you set up some simple automation for them, build a decent website, or create an online booking system. And here's the genius part. You don't charge them a flat fee. You negotiate a piece of the new profit that you helped them create. See the shift? You're going from being a consumer to a producer of actual value.
So this is the moment. This is the turning point. It's where you finally stop blaming the world. You look yourself square in the mirror and you decide right now to start building your own damn future. This is it. This is your ignition phase.
And really, when you boil it all down, it comes back to that one simple choice we talked about at the beginning. Every single day, every time you hit a roadblock, you've got a decision to make. Are you going to reach for the magnifying glass, or are you going to reach for the mirror? Which one is it going to be?
Let me leave you with this final thought. We live in a world that is constantly trying to get you to fit in, to conform. But the whole point of this mirror strategy is to own your path, to not be vanilla, to stop trying to please everybody. Because, as the author so brilliantly puts it, if you're everyone's cup of tea, then you're a mug. So go on, choose your path, build your value, and go claim your freedom.